Does he talk about me like once per stream now? Is that what we're up to?
Punished by how
Maybe.
hard...
Oh shit! I thought Vaush was gonna, for 1 microsecond of his life, apply some common sense when thinking about a take I would give. I like. I love the playful speculation of like, I'm not sure. You know, just destiny kind of seems like a demonic spirit from hell. Vaush thinks that being poor in the U.S. means that you're starving on the street and you're begging for food. That's what, because he says he has no poor friends. He's never been poor. So imagine thinking that your most intellectual challenges are going to come from fans that hate me, and then hate watch me, and then regurgitate my arguments in a half-baked manner back to you, and then you tear down those arguments like you're a Giga Chad. Like,
logistics
what?
being one of them.
Do you ever video Ben Shapiro teaching politics to kids? God, no. Vaush response to your review of the Econoboy debate.
Intellectually.
Help him stuck in the walls.
Oh yeah, wait. Why does he say? Hold on. What was this? 1 second.
You need to go over Destiny's coverage on Folding Ideas NFT video. He took issue with Folding Ideas NFT video? He goes on an unhinged rant about how 2008 was the fault of the people taking the loans and was hostile right from the get-go. He said,
that's not at all what I said. Wait, what? Why is Vaush relying on secondhand? All I said was that you get an incomplete picture of what happened if you only blame one side. It was a complex problem with a lot of different parties involved. To say that it was just driven by greedy bankers or whatever is not necessarily true. There are greedy homeowners as well. It's literally there was a lot of misaligned incentives on every single part of that crisis. That's why it became so horrible. Well, it became horrible because we found a way to connect financial instruments to it as well. But I don't know why he doesn't just watch the video. If you want to respond to what I say, what, like, okay, someone in chat, hold on, let me read a chatter. Vaush says that he thinks that like having sex with 5 is moral. Wow, that sounds like something Vaush would say. That's so horrible. I can't believe Vaush is just so avowedly a pedophile. Like, what a brain dead way to like go about addressing anything I've ever said. It's so stupid.
2 for 15 on bets these last 2 rounds of the playoffs. I'm down bad, chat. Need fat stacks.
says and does a lot of classist shit. He couldn't finish the vid because his orbiters went on a stream to call him out.
He couldn't finish the vid because orbiters wanted him to call him out? Wait, what? I don't even know if I necessarily disagreed with the video that much. I think my main problem with the video was it didn't really have much to do with like Bitcoin or NFTs. It just seemed to have to do with like the scams revolving around Bitcoins and NFTs. That was my main complaint about the video. What a weird way to characterize, what a bad faith way to characterize my issues with the video.
Really true. I'm consistently astonished by how hard...
Oh shit, I thought Vaush was gonna, for 1 microsecond of his life, apply some common sense when thinking about a take I would give. Is that really true? Doesn't he really say something so dumb? But he's about to dive into some dumb shit again, isn't he?
Really true. I'm consistently astonished by how hard he's fallen off plus L plus ratio.
Okay.
No, I have no interest in going over him malding.
Oh. Does that mean he's not going to comment on it at all? Or is he going to say, I have no interest in going over it, and then he's about to give some take about how horrible of a person I am? What do you think? What do you think is about to happen?
Here, I go planting landmines near my streamer space. I laughed at the right?
Did he pose any, like, 2008 was the fault of the... I don't know. I don't like playing telephone. There we go.
I feel like I've outpaced him intellectually.
It's always classism. His politics are always going to be about supplementing his ego by finding avenues through which he can demonstrate to himself that he's smarter than other people.
What does that sentence even mean? His politics are all about ego, so he's only going to find things to argue about that he's correct on? Is that what does that sentence even mean?
Classism is the most socially acceptable venue for him to do this, but I'm fairly confident that in a different world he would be just as comfortable doing it through racism or sexism. I don't think it really matters. I think the arguments are better against racism and sexism. Of course I believe that. Otherwise I wouldn't be anti-racist and anti-sexist. But a really nice thing about being anti-socialist is that you get to be anti, you know, working class by proxy. because almost every talking point socialists invoke it can only be attacked by
Nice. Being anti-socialist means that you're anti-working class.
validating the problems poor people experience. Neoliberals run into this over and over and over again.
There's the N-word.
The funny thing is that if you thread the needle perfectly, you can actually be an austerity-oriented capitalist without ever engaging in classist language. You simply have to sincerely believe and make...
Austerity, that's definitely you guys hear me say that all the time. Guys, we've got to balance the budget. Guys, we've got to cut social welfare. That's definitely a position that I've advocated for many a time on my stream. I love austerity.
Arguments for the belief that austere neoliberal politics are the best way of...
Who says that... Also, neoliberals aren't necessarily austere or into austerity or pro-austerity.
helping poor people. Do I believe that? I sure as shit do not. But if you sincerely do, and you know the arguments well, you can do all of that without being classist. But it's really hard. It's very difficult. It's the class equivalent of being politically opposed to rap music, wearing your pants down below your waist, flat caps, wearing your hat on backwards, and not using proper enunciated English without being racist. Is it possible? Yes, it is hypothetically possible to believe all of those things and express those beliefs in a non-racist way. But wow, are you taking the long road if you're not just being racist about it? Same with the classism stuff. You guys get what I mean?
It's like so much random shit that he's saying just to like avoid engaging with any argument I make.
How do we do the social welfare without giving them money? I don't understand. Is there just no way to help poor people systemically? There are tons of ways. You can target almost every level of the system. If you give, I mean, giving them money is one thing, sure, but you can subsidize systems, you can decommodify or nationalize elements of food production, healthcare, construction. You can mandate the decommodification of a portion of goods given, or an allotment, a ration, if you will, each month, week, year to people. You know, there are,
That's definitely what Americans want to do. Give me
Listen,
my ration card
it's
for
a simple
food, please.
Fact, all right? The fact that there are any homeless people, any people who struggle with getting enough food in this country is a barbarity, all right? This is why people say socialism or barbarism, okay? Because the alternative to socialism is accepting and living in a world of unimaginable excess juxtaposed to incredible deprivation.
Why did he skew? It feels like he skewed a lot harder to the left. Like, I thought before he was like, yeah, you know, social democrats are okay. We prefer them to be democratic socialists. But now he's like full on like, if you're not a socialist, you're a neoliberal. If you're not a socialist, all you want is for people to suffer. Like, what happened? I thought he was like more chill than this. Or I don't know if there was like a pivot recently that I missed or what, but Jesus.
Which is, of course, in the language of the phrase, the barbarism.
I feel like I've
and we live with that. Tens of millions of Americans struggle to get enough food every year. They struggle with. I remember Destiny arguing about that too. Oh, all right. Americans struggle to get enough food every year. They struggle with. I remember Destiny arguing about that too.
Oh, I did argue about that. So somebody like Vaush doesn't know what the poor experience is like in the United States. He has no idea. Vaush thinks that being poor in the U.S. means that you're starving on the street and you're begging for food. That's what, because he has no poor friends. He's never been poor. Like, poor people in America aren't starving. That's not the issue, right? The issue is they work very fucking long hours. They don't get any fucking vacation time. Oftentimes they're inundated with horrible forms of debt, so like credit card debt or payday loans. They have a hard time buying houses, and for better or for worse, housing is like a really big deal to a lot of people, and it's the most common way to accumulate wealth in a family. They have a hard time sending their kids to good schools. Like, these are the problems that poor people face in America. But to Vaush, like, poor people are like these comical representations of like what the poor are like in the worst like third world movies you see. Like, oh, poor people in America, they're starving to death on the streets, begging for scraps of food from the tables of people like Vaush's family, right? Like, this is what he thinks a poor person's life is like. He just has no perspective. I mean, I understand why he thinks that. It's just irritating that he'll like laugh off the correct characterization of it so much, just because he can't even fathom like what it means to actually be poor. You fat fucking piece of shit.
Oh, all right. I'll engage in the dalliance really quickly because you know he has to get to his erection somehow, and me talking about him seems as good a way as any to subsidize that process.
Jesus, he's like so obsessed with constantly pointing out like, oh, time to stop now. I can't talk about Destiny because I know how
feel like
excited.
I've
Like,
outpaced him
Jesus, every
intellectually.
fucking time. Hold on, what is this message in his chat? Vaush, Mr. Moon had to come on to explain how NFTs engage in criminal activity and Dia to keep pivoting to IRS and tax orders. Nothing to do with what Moon was saying. First of all, it wasn't Moon, it was Dan. Secondly, we were just talking about like one way to, I guess like launder money. Jesus. Okay.
But I remember so vividly back when he had fun arguing against the right as opposed to the left. This big spiel, maybe some of you remember if you were a part of or still are a part of his community, or were back then at least, that he would go on these big spiels about how being poor through college had given him a sense of empathy for poor people. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, like through college, because he like worked and did college at the same time. Like it seemed like it worked really hard too, you know? It's a sincere point. I don't know how much time it takes for that to like bleed away, or what else. I guess it just goes to show that empathy is never enough. Familiarity is never enough. But no, I don't know.
I love the playful speculation of like, I'm not sure, you know, just Destiny kind of seems like a demonic spirit from hell. You know, as I kind of consider it, like, I think if I had a gun with one bullet and Hitler came back to life, I might have to kill Destiny, you know? I'm just not sure, you know? Like, it's just like, it's always like the playful meandering thoughts. Like, bro, are you okay?
You get baited so badly by your chat with B-Lol, they exaggerate so much shit, especially with the NFT video.
True! Oh shit, there's an honest actor in the chat calling him out.
Destiny agree with a lot of it. Oh, I've seen him be classed. Oh, I'm not even talking about the NFT video. Destiny's been
And then he moves off it immediately.
stupidly classist for a while now.
I'm
as
very
I said,
classist.
It's the short path.
That's me.
To the goal.
I'm just, when I think Destiny, I think classist. I think guy that loves rich people and hates poor people. That's basically my whole politics these days. I just hate poor people. What am I mean, come on. Who doesn't hate poor people? Like, Jesus, they're fucking poor. What are you supposed to do?
But, I don't know.
The only poor people I hate are the white names in my chat, okay? Let's get one thing clear here. And I am classist.
I suppose it should always be wrought with great suspicion anybody who seems very, very concerned with repeating
Go
the
vegan.
mantra that, you know, the average person is very stupid and so and so and such. It's always been kind of a red flag, right, for people on any side of the political aisle, that whole, like, you know, the average person is so stupid, like that type of thing. I guess I do that too. Maybe it's only a few years before I have contemptuous hate for the poor.
Contemptuous.
I'll let you guys know if I ever feel any contemptuous hate for the poor. I'm not feeling it right now, but if it happens in the future, I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you updated on the development of that particular issue.
Good one, Vaush.
Have you ever been around average people? Average people exist, but there's no such thing as an average person. Because the averages are aligned on so many axes that any...
Oh, is he copying my position about moderates? Has he ever given this take before? Oh, cute.
person is going to be exceptional in some respects.
Prop check.
Averages are always going to be a statistical factor, not an interpersonal one.
But he's found a way to make it
So
sound
no,
more
I don't think any
pretentious.
of us have ever met the average person.
Nice.
Some are certainly closer than others. This is the most autistic answer. An exceptional point right there. By being autistic, you see, it's yet another axis by which I deviate from the norm, you know? By being a fucking retard, you too have
Whoa.
managed to exceed
Oh, he
the
even hopped on the
average
R word
position
train with
that
us.
would otherwise be, you know, a well-charted and highly predictable line.
Giga Chad.
With you know what exceptional paths we all carve in life.
I feel like I've outpaced him intellectually.
We're never going to
My
get any
partner.
fucking good segments today, are we? It's just going to be this the whole goddamn time. God.
Any Vaush fans? Newly
No, no, no.
created
We'll
Vaush
do
fans in the chat?
politics. Fine. Ben Shapiro. Yes, Ben Shapiro.
Okay. Let's see. Vaush explains why he ended the debate with Mr. Girl. He sounds exhausted. No, I think so. This is like a guess, but you guys watch more Vaush than I do, so you have to tell me, okay?
I feel like I've outpaced him.
It sounds like when Vaush, and I also might be reading too far into this as well. Maybe he could sound like this all the time, but it sounds like when Vaush brings me up, he has to be very careful, and he has to assume like a hyper specific demeanor so that he can bring me up with derision without ever sounding like too emotionally invested or sad. So it might be like, say, like, so this is an example. So like he might be talking like, oh my God, like I'm so mad about abortion, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like somebody brings up Destiny comment and he's like, ah,
I don't want to be a
Destiny.
white man. Get me out of here. Also, I had intercourse with Ramite. Ego's mom last night. What we got?
Well, Destiny is a character that, he's quite silly, very stupid. Somebody that I've had the unfortunate circumstance of being aligned with in the past, but thankfully, I've moved. It's like really obsessed with keeping his like intonation and everything in check, and to have this like the most coolest detached association whatsoever, or as possible with the topic, and then that's how he tries to like approach. It feels like that whenever he's talking about me is what it feels like. Destiny is nothing more than just a reactionary. Is this going to be boring? I feel like he just says the same shit over and over again.
Cap it off. I've said that like Destiny's main issue is spite, and that's true. My criticism won't up.
Does he talk about me like once per stream now? Is that what we're up to?
You know, it's not an insult, because insults are something that I have to vary so that they can stay interesting. But it's just
Wow.
the thing that he is, so
Sick
it's going to
burn.
remain the case. I
Nice.
think another thing that he is
Daily Destiny rant.
is a reactionary in the sense that he's classist, which is worth bringing up. Everything from the just move thing, the idea that like people who complain about how high rent is when they live in big cities should just move elsewhere, even though big cities need people being paid wages for minimum wage jobs in order to survive. Like,
True.
if all the people who paid more than 1/3 of their salary in rent in LA just left, LA would collapse, right? Because those people prop up LA, right?
Wow.
It's a
Based.
very stupid point. Like, it
For
doesn't
sure.
take much thought to understand.
Of
Like,
course.
oh wait, the city needs these people, but it also doesn't provide them what they need to live there. That is a problem. But he reassigns that back to their poor decision making. Oh, they should just move out to Arkansas and live in a house that costs $2 or whatever. That alongside his critiques of worker co-ops seeming to stem from him thinking workers are stupid, which is what he said on Twitter, I think, like 2 Twitter accounts ago and like 18 Twitter purges ago. And later he contextualized this by saying like, well, you know, anyone's stupid if you haven't been educated or whatever. But I think that deep down, one of the holdovers from, no, not holdovers from, one of the things that causes people to be libertarian, which is what he was for the longest time,
The
was
longest
the
time.
deep-seated belief that you're better than everyone else. And I think that's what motivated everything else that he's done and everything else that he's believed. if
Holy
that makes any
shit.
sense. He doesn't seem to care much about democracy because the people are stupid. You know, any system which enables democracy, he doesn't like very much, or he seems to have some kind of innate disdain for the intelligence of the people in that system. He most of his like, yeah, I don't know. Most of his like debate advocacy seems to be like the sort of aesthetic performative enjoyment of being smarter than the people you're talking to. If
Oh
that
my
makes any
God.
sense, you know? I think that actually speaks to him more than contrarianism or whatever. Like, I think that like that's one of the reasons why libertarianism is appealing. But I think the only reason he moved off libertarianism isn't because his like fundamental ideology changed. It's because he found a better system for being smarter than other people. And of course, it's serving him very poorly with, you know, wise criticisms of worker co-ops like, well, what if they all just voted to raise their wages up super high? You should react to Destiny's critique of your debate with Econ Boy. I assume he went over the second one as well, because he went over both debates with Econ Boy, no doubt. He seemed to have some legitimate criticisms worth addressing.
It's so funny. Like, Vaush knows that everything he's saying is stupid, and he knows that I'm probably correct on these things, which is why even though he would get a viewer bump from arguing, like, imagine how much of my audience would be converted over. Can you imagine? Let's say I debate Vaush on economics or something related to one of his debates, and he just comes in and he crushes me. Do you know how fucking bad I would look? Like, when I'm sitting here taking so many shots at him, saying, like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then he comes in and he's like, oh, well, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh, fuck. It would actually be probably the most humiliating defeat of my life in terms of debates for how much I've criticized his lack of knowledge on stuff. But he won't do it. Why? Really makes you wonder, huh?
Probably not, you know? That's sort of like looking for an apple in a sewage tank in terms of legitimate criticisms towards me from Destiny. Seems highly unlikely. I tend to get my advice from people who I haven't just left in the dust, intellectually, of course. But if there are any criticisms or whatever, you're free to like email me. I can give them a look. I feel like all the empirical claims that I made were empirically backed. I think the problem is I had this convo with Destiny and he was pig-headed about it. To Econo Boy's credit, like Econo Boy was a lot more honest about it, but like I had the whole worker co-op conversation with Destiny like 2 years ago, and it was a huge waste of time. Yeah, like 2 years ago, right? Wasn't it like a 4-hour conversation? And it was just like, well, in what ways would eliminating the bourgeois and having like the economy be democratized, like fix some of these systemic problems? And I went through it, and he was like, okay, well, that wouldn't do anything.
9 months?
Ad
Wow.
infinitum for like
Just
4
epic.
hours. The issue is like to
Very
liberals,
epic.
like you have
Even-
empiricism
wow.
through like data analysis or whatever, but the moment you like strike out on any ideological claims, like they shut down completely. Though in Destiny's case, again, it probably has less to do with being a liberal and has more to do with being very spiteful. Still haven't heard you explain what a TIF is. My brain purges the info. Can you respond to the questions of why workers would sacrifice the value of their equity in exchange for more workers joining their co-op? That's legitimately something worth considering. It's answered by reality. We have co-ops. Worker cooperatives.
He won't even answer the question. It is answered by reality. We do have co-ops, but it's really hard to start co-ops because it's really hard to get equity to begin with. Or you can do other types of co-ops where you don't need the equity, but they're not really co-ops anymore. They're just like other forms of like capital managed firms. Like,
Even ones with flat income aren't like a mythical thing. They're a real thing that currently exists. I don't need to answer that. We already have worker co-ops. It's already a thing that exists presently. Like, why would they sacrifice the value of their equity? Because workers are capable of brain thought, and they know that bringing more workers on board of an organization would allow them to expand and potentially better themselves. Like, to put it another way, during price shocks and economic downturns, worker cooperatives, the members of them tend to vote to lower their own wages rather than fire people. They're clearly very, very, very willing to accept pay fluctuations in times of economic necessity. And most co-ops aren't like flat co-ops where everyone gets the exact same amount and any new addition means that the pie slices grow thinner in each direction, you know? Usually people are entitled to proceeds from a portion of profits, and like amounts are set aside for other considerations, or they're left to managerial discretion, and when you hire new people you have a probationary period to see if they fit in with the company culture, and if things go well then you get like it's not like the question why
imagine if your company lost a fuck ton of money in a year. Like, do you just lose money then if you're part of the co-op? Do you just like, oh fuck, like we all have to chip in now? Is that Boob Coomer? Jeckland. Okay. Like, hey guys, everybody needs to chip in 5K. We lost money last quarter. We gotta shore up company revenue, okay? We're about to default on our loans for our trucks. Are you just fucked? I don't think I have enough bullets or meds to run this fucking mill tunnel. Good luck.
would workers sacrifice some of their equity by allowing new people to join the co-op is a question answered by reality. Is that seriously a question Destiny posed?
I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb compared to Vaush, but I have all these fans. It would be so easy to just rob me of my fan base, to just swoop in and just yoink all my viewers. How could anybody resist that opportunity? I wouldn't be able to. When I see people that are as dumb as Vaush accuses me of being, fuck, I can't afford to miss any shots. I debate that person because it's like free real estate, baby. Another missed shot. Please drop. No bullets. Oh yeah, just fuck my shit up. Oh, I have to chop up the bodies too.
Koyevich said, "I'm genuinely asking. Was it really? Is that how stupid the socialist? Have you considered? Like, they already exist. I think he said something about capital investment being necessary for a company to be created. People need to buy into a co-op to be part of it. There are co-ops that don't have people buy into it. If someone does
A co-op where people don't buy into it aren't co-ops. Then it's some other weird form, and you've like just decided to call it a co-op to make yourself feel better about yourself."
doesn't buy in, they don't really own the business. I don't know if I'm kind of economically illiterate. He legitimately doesn't understand how co-ops work then. It's either because he's unintelligent or because his brain is addled by dislike them. There are co-ops where people don't need to buy in. Again, we're arguing the conceptual impossibility.
Then where's the cooperative ownership if you don't buy in? Do all the other workers just sort of give you shares of the business for free? Or it's like you're talking about something fundamentally different there. I don't care.
Ability of a thing that exists and has existed for a long time. And ownership is less the concern for me so much as control. Control of the means of production, ownership of the means.
Yeah, but you're not going to give control to people that don't have any ownership. Why the fuck would I let some loser that has no control of my business decide how to run my business? I thought the point of a co-op was that everybody had some ownership stake. Fuck off. Oh my god, dude. I'm not getting any bullets. I have 37 bullets. It's theoretically, if it's perfect, it's 4 headshots kills 1 dude. Presumably. Oh, hello there. That's a person running, right? Hello? Did you watch the newest Mindscape? Nope. Okay, hold on. 4 minutes left of this.
Production, often used interchangeably, but the democracy element is what I consider for meaningfully. Not that if the business was sold, they would get like a portion of the sale revenue or whatever. Not that their name would be on the deed or anything like that. In terms of capital investment, I feel like I covered that in the Econoboy debate. Do worker co-ops allow split screen? Yeah, but only if you don't look. I wonder how small co-ops would compete with larger co-ops that could suffocate competition in a predominantly co-op society. How would that be managed? You know that happens in like business in general, right? I wonder how small businesses would compete with larger businesses that could suffocate competition in a business economy. Well, it's a complicated question, but it's a thing that happens already, right? And you generally address that with regulation, not with like whether or not a business is democratic. And I do believe in regulation.
Wow,
If you
he's getting
consider the
close
private
to the
corporations are
answer.
people, I have not factored that into my calculations. I'm wondering, would it be better or worse? It'd be about the same. Worker cooperatives don't fix all the problems with the market economy. It's one half of the pie. Sometimes people are like, not today, Merrick. Sometimes people are like, well, this problem would continue to exist under like,
Basically, all
market
of your problems
socialism,
would
which,
continue to
yeah,
exist.
people will still get appendicitis under market socialism. It doesn't fix all problems. It fixes some problems. And I think politically it puts us in a good position to fix other problems. I think, for example, that it will be much easier to regulate markets when all political and economic decision-making isn't being made by a distinct political class, and where there's much more transparency in every economic institution, because everyone within any corporate structure has to be voted into their position and is therefore subject to the whims of those beneath them. I think those things will lead to an environment which makes regulation a lot easier. You're saying you want to genocide corporations? I'm just saying that oppressed people should have the right to do what they want with corporations.
Does he want to outlaw traditional corporate
Also,
ownership?
something
Yes.
Destiny mentioned
That's the
is-
whole point of a quote-unquote market socialist. Peace goes. They want to outlaw all private ownership. That's the thing that makes it really shitty. And that's the thing. That's a hard sell too, because like co-ops can exist in today's society. If you want to make one, you can make one. But he wants to go a step further, and he wants to ban.
Thanks for giving us our stuff back. See ya.
Yeah. Wait here. Come back.
Alright, are you gonna kill me? Please don't. Oh. Oh. Okay, thanks.
He wants to ban all private ownership.
That some workers might not vote to increase their workload in favor of some marginal benefit to other workers. They might vote in and increase their pay without regard for
No
other
more
workers.
stock trading?
Well,
Well, people are saying that the stock... He says the stock market will still exist. It'll just all be non-voting shares and non-controlling shares or whatever. Is basically what he's saying. So you can invest in a company if you want, but they have no obligation to return to you any sort of capital, and they are not going to listen to anything you say. Yeah. Who controls it then? The workers. That's the whole point.
And it's a wonderful thing that we have actual existing co-ops. I don't. What is this? What is
I
this
want a refund.
idealism? Listen, I'm a dialectical materialist. Okay, we have existing worker cooperatives. Okay, the issue is here's the fact of the matter. Okay, Destiny, like a lot of liberals, thinks the average worker is like a dumbass. Okay, it's the same contemptuous classist disregard for them.
I like how he misreads my description so much. I'm not saying like the average worker is a dumb fucking idiot. They're fucking so stupid and I'm so contemptuous. That's not it. It's that the average worker probably doesn't know much about running a business, about long-term business strategy. That's just outside of the mind. Most people don't give a fuck about it. Most people don't think about it. They just want to go to work, get paid, go home, and then like take care of their kids or hang out with their family or go out drinking with their friends. Like that's what most people want to do. That's what I mean when I say like, but I've explained this a million times. He knows this. I don't know why I'm explaining this again. Like he knows this. It's obviously just a bad faith attack on things I've said in the past, but.
The aristocrats had for the peasantry back in the day. It's a holdover from his libertarianism. What if the workers were just really stupid? What if they all voted to make their salary $1 billion, and then the next day they ran out of money and had to default? Well, we have co-ops, and those things don't tend to happen. Idiot. Jesus. And it's not as though traditional corporations don't constantly themselves over, but well, if you put the workers in charge, there's no reason to believe that putting the workers in charge would then vote on a manager to like centralize decisions in a firm or whatever, would then like be a colossal idiot. There are managers in existence right now in traditional corporations who are colossal idiots, who do cover the entire corporation. I'm sure that will continue to happen sometimes in worker cooperatives, but I don't think there's any reason to believe it would happen more often. Evidence suggests it happens less often, because co-ops tend to be a little bit better at weathering economic crises, which are the real, like, testing period for businesses. How resilient are they, you know? If these are the qualities of, like, the good faith intellectual challenges that he's, like, throwing at me these days, then holy, you know? Yeah, it's so...
Imagine thinking that your most intellectual challenges are going to come from fans that hate me, and then hate watch me, and then regurgitate my arguments in a half-baked manner back to you, and then you
Most workers
tear down
don't
those
understand the
arguments like
basics of
you're a
running
Giga
business.
Chad. Like,
Logistics
what?
being one of the biggest. Making a product is hard. Making a product and delivering it to hundreds or thousands of locations is much more difficult.
It's an indication of being so desperate. He's so desperate for your content, he went over the ethics of drowning video on a Vaush clip channel today. Jesus Christ. People who say there's a mutual obsession, doesn't he literally spend like hours on his stream going over my shit? Like every single time he comes up in my stream, it's because somebody in chat says something or brings up something or like someone donates or whatever. I'm pretty sure he independently seeks out hours of content to view. And he's so desperate for my attention and so in need of things to criticize that he's out here criticizing worker co-ops for things for which there is empirical evidence that don't happen, you know? Yeah, it's like stalker shit. It's really weird, you know? Like when he jumped onto a panel to talk with me to say
We've heard this
that
part before.
in spite of previous positions he's advocated for, actually,
Where do my doors go? literally Vaush's Anna. True.